André Onana has left Manchester United. The words I never thought I'd be muttering, but it has finally happened. He has been gone, he's packed his bags, and he has left Manchester. To which extent of that, I don't know, but it's been confirmed. He has left, and he's headed off to Turkey. Trabzonspor is his destination. He's getting paid much more. Everything isn't up for him there, and we've got him gone. Some say a shock exit that no one would have expected this early, but he has gone. One of the problem child. That I wouldn't have expected really for United to do this early on, given the Turkish window is still open. He has gone, leaving Heaton, Bayındır and Lammens in the goalkeeping unit. So let's see how this entails, and let's see what this means for Manchester United. Onana arrived as a big fix after De Gea when Ten Hag came through that door. Originally, he was brought in for his distribution, his calmness, and that thrilling Champions League where he dominated that game, in which we were all shocked, we were all riddled, we were all confused as to why he couldn't replicate that at Manchester United. We signed him, we gave him the backing. We thought we were going to get a good goalkeeper, but no, we totally shocked. Seasons that he's been here under Ten Hag, first season under Amorim, warning signs were there from the off. He cost us the Champions League, cost us Europa League. It's that European that really started it off, the Champions League, in which we backed him through thick and thin, through that Champions League. But that quality just wasn't right for the fans, for the board. And that's probably what ultimately led to his dismissal on a loan in September right now. His full 90, only against Grimsby, in which he wasn't the best. 2 easy goals that could have been potentially stopped. We're not shy of that. He's made many mistakes like that last season, season before that. So we're acclimated to his performances. But you think about that decline, it started as soon as he came through that door, that Champions League run. Rasmus were on fire, scoring his goal in the Champions League, only for us to get knocked out from the goalkeeping errors from Onana specifically, in which we're now back up to Amorim, who's dropped behind Heaton, and he's dropped behind Bayındır. So if you think about that, there's currently 3 keepers ahead of him. And I had a feeling he knew he was going to be off as soon as Lammens came through that door, the goalkeeper from Belgium. So the loan in the good world does make sense. He goes to a less profile team, Trabzonspor, although they are, second? Trabzonspor. Second, behind Galatasaray. Trabzonspor fans, I hope he does well for you. I hope he can get himself back to where he was in that Champions League final, because for the 3 years I think he's been here, Premier League, he's not done it for us. But it allows Manchester United to focus on stability and building that goalkeeping core unit up. I've heard that Lammens, the goalkeeper, has got high potential, and that competition for Bayındır and the competition for that place has been fast-tracked, as it seems, as we all thought Onana were going to stay up until December, where he would have left for AFCON. So who knows, Lammens could make his debut against City or Chelsea, or could be the next international break. But it allows us to focus up and get a rock-solid goalkeeping anchor behind the centre-backs in which they feel confident with. So look, the deal, it's a season-long loan, covering all of his wages, he's getting bonuses. No buy option, no loan option. I think the big factor for him was that he's going to earn more at Turkey compared to what he's getting at Manchester United, which is I think around £120,000 a week. So he's going to get double what he's got for the bonuses, sign on, etc., and the wage. Think about United, one of the 2 goalkeepers from their perspective were going to go. Would it have been Bayındır? Would it have been Onana? I think Amorim hinted that Onana wasn't going to get any minutes right from the off. Think about that opening game against Arsenal. Dropped again. The next Premier League game, Grimsby, that was his chance, his one and only chance. If he couldn't do it there, he ain't going to be my starting goalkeeper. And that was Amorim's final decision. And it's that point where you've got to back the manager. If he wants a player out, in which we haven't seen a manager do for the past 10 years, it's a good move. It's a win-win for both. Ideally, it's not a permanent fixture, but we can't complain. He's gone. It allows us to clear up that goalkeeping scene, quietens down the media, the people, the fans, the Amorim outers, people like that, and just gets us more stability. If you think about it, he only started the Carabao Cup game against Grimsby, and it just goes to show that, like I said, Amorim just did not want him anywhere near that goalkeeping unit at all. And it's with that Bayındır, although he's shaky, he provides good competition with Lammens and Heaton. But if you think about it, the pros of this, Onana gets a positive fresh start, clean slate at Turkey. He's still in the mix of winning probably a medal if he gets his team up above Galatasaray, who are the leaders in Turkey at this current time. So it's a chance to rebuild his confidence that he once lost when he came over. Now, is that the pressures of the United goalkeeping? Is that the pressures around the club? Is it just a direct media impact every single day? You're getting articles written about you 24/7. Anywhere they can find an out, there'll always be an in for a player to get caught up in the headlines. And in Turkey, there will be much less of that, and it'll allow him to build that self-esteem up that he could potentially have lost when he came here to United. So for him, it's a win. He gets more money. He gets to rebuild his confidence as a keeper. Gets to work on the basics in which he lacked. So he can't really argue about this. We win. The Trabzonspor win. They get good goalkeeping. Yes, he's been very dreadful, but he's got European experience, so to speak. In Turkey, I'm sure he'll do very well. I'm assuming much less intense in their own respect compared to the Premier League, in which he can take his time, he can develop, he can think, in which you don't get that quite as much in the Premier League. But what does this mean for United now that he has left? 3 goalkeeping keepers, a 39-year-old in Heaton, long-term future in Lammens, and a shaky somewhat start to the season in Bayındır. Now look, he can play both Bayındır and Lammens, like Raya and Aaron Ramsdale at Arsenal. He can let them fight it out. But we all know who should be starting if they perform really well, and it should be Lammens. But that's for the future. Bayındır might get a couple of running games, especially in the City fixture and probably Chelsea. But I think when everyone comes back, if Lammens catches the eye of Amorim, he could displace him on Sunday very quickly. If injuries do start to occur for whatever reason, touch wood, got a piece of wood bed frame right here. It's very, very shaky. We are light, but it needed cutting, it needs slimming down to the point where we had competition and not players who were not accountable, but they didn't feel confidence. We had 2 players underperforming. We've only got 1. A talent's been brought in. Could Bayındır build his confidence back up now? Instead of 2 shaky goalkeepers, we've got 1. Lammens is a positive keeper, does well in training. Bayındır naturally will have to get his confidence back up, and we could see less of the mistakes. Who knows? Tom Heaton is our backup. He's played the odd friendly game in the summer, but hasn't played any Premier League or Cup minutes, which I'm sure if he's called upon, he'll gladly come in and provide a service for us, get the job done. But then there's the other question could we have given up on Onana too soon? His performances have been very dreadful. If he hadn't have gone, would have we been sat here with 4 goalkeeping players, in which there's always going to be a chance for someone to get that first team position? And if Onana's there, he'll do everything in his power to get that number 1 spot. He missed AFCON last year. He didn't want Bayındır taking that number 1 spot back in December, I think, when we played Spurs. So it goes to show that Amorim has and is building towards that younger profile of squad in which he knows he can trust and put his tactics in. If you think about it, Onana's not his man. Bayındır is definitely not his man. Lammens is his man. It'll just take time for him to develop into what the potential is, and it was either going to be Onana or Bayındır going, and it turned out to be it was Onana. He's getting double the salary, he's getting double pretty much everything he's at, so money does talk. He wanted a new contract as soon as he came back from the break, saying look, or the summer, saying where's the contract? We're out of Champions League, I've lost that 20 or 25% bonus. I need that contract, where is it? And United said, and Amorim as well said, nah, you're not getting it. 2 years, you've had 2 years and that's it, no more. And off he goes in September to Turkey. As ruthless and as harsh as it is, Onana's exit fits the Amorim vision. If you don't perform in them 2 years, you're gone. United in general need to get out of that mindset of keeping players for the sake of keeping players. And the longer we keep Amorim, the longer he can implement his style and get rid of the players that need to go in order for new ones to come in to fit his style. So there it is, Onana to Trabzonspor on loan, season-long loan. United's next big thing to leaving on loan. Was this the right call for Manchester United? For me, yes it was. Or did the club make a mistake in letting the current profile of keepers, as slim as it looks? Could we have kept him? I can't see a world where we would have. But let me know your comments in the description below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.